Hi guys, so I've been asked if I could say something about how sabres are held. Essentially there's only three ways that the military sabre is held. Either with the thumb up, so like that, with the thumb up the back strap of the grip, not quite touching the guard because you don't want it to ram into the guard when you thrust something. So that the hand is actually wrapped around the bottom of the handle there, like that, and the thumb goes up the back strap, hope you can see that, and the index finger is about an inch down from the guard. And what this essentially does is it brings the point more in line with the forearm, and it means that between the index finger and the thumb you can get a very quick, snappy motion like that. And the leverage really is actually between the top finger and thumb and the little finger, the bottom finger, and you can get this very quick snapping motion. However, what you'll find is that some swords can't be held like that for two main reasons. One, because they don't have a long enough hilt, and I have an example here, so I can't really comfortably get my thumb up the back of that type of sabre. This is a more traditional design of sabre. This is actually a 19th century French one, but it's similar to earlier styles of sabre, and so I hold that in what's called the hammer grip, because that's simply how big the hilt is, and that's how all I can fit my hand into. And this is the traditional sort of medieval style grip or Tulwar style grip that most people will grip a stick or a weapon and strike with. Equally, the other reason why you might not hold with the thumb up grip on the sword is if the weapon is essentially too heavy and unwieldy to hold in that way. So John Musgrave Waite explains it very simply. He says that if it's a light sabre, not something from Star Wars that hums and glows, but i.e. if it's a sabre that's not very heavy, then you, like this one, then you hold it with the thumb up, and that gives you some kind of speed advantage, and it facilitates thrusting more easily, brings the point more online. But he says if it's a heavy sabre, and in Victorian lingo that basically means a big cavalry sabre, and this is a 40-inch blade, big heavy Royal Horse Guards sword, and I can assure you, I mean, I've been doing sabre for quite a lot of years and using long swords and other types of swords, and this is not comfortable to hold with a thumb up grip. It's just a bit too heavy, a bit too unwieldy. However, with the hammer grip, just holding it like a medieval sword, it's completely comfortable, and you can move the weapon fairly quickly and easily, even though it's a 40-inch blade. So Waite explains it quite nicely. He says hammer grip for heavier sabres, thumb up grip for lighter sabres. The matter is a little bit more complicated than that. Colonel Mary Mong, a French colonel, wrote a treatise on swords, a memoir on swords he calls it, that was translated into English in 1860, and he actually favours a sort of what he describes as an Oriental or Asiatic way of cutting, and he doesn't like the thumb up grip at all. So he actually says don't put your thumb up, which was what was taught in the French regulations and the British regulations. He actually says to keep the thumb down and cut like you were using a shamshir or a yataghan, or a Middle Eastern or a African or Asian sword. To add to that, the third option, as it were, is that some treatises seem to switch between holding it with a hammer grip and putting the thumb up to give the thrust. So you can switch between the two. And something else to say about the hammer grip as well is that the hammer grip doesn't only have to give you a 90-degree grip on the sword. You can actually shift so you're sort of halfway between a hammer grip and a thumb up grip, where you actually keep your thumb at the side of the weapon, but the weapon is still canted slightly in your grip. And in actual fact there are certain types of Polish and Hungarian sabre which actually have a ring on the side here that you put your thumb through there, give a thumb ring, and it's possible that type of grip works better with that type of thumb ring on the side. So essentially there are three ways of gripping the sabre. There's thumb up, there's hammer grip, and then the switching between the two. Okay, and I should add that some masters in the past, some teachers and writers on fencing, were strongly for one or the other. So for example, Burton was strongly for the thumb up, and then Mary Mong was strongly for the hammer grip. And then you've got someone like John Musgrave Waite, who is perhaps more pragmatic, and where he said you put the thumb up if it's a light sabre and you have a hammer grip if it's a heavy sabre. Okay, so hopefully that's clear. Thank you.